into 10 News at 11. We're standing just outside Bayfront Medical Center where Rays starting pitcher Alex Cobb is being kept overnight for observation after living through a pitcher's worst nightmare. Cobb suffering a mild concussion after being struck in the head in the top of the 5th inning in today's ball game against the Royals. For hockey fans, there's as many steps to ending the NHL lockout as assembling a cabinet from IKEA. This afternoon, the Players Association moved to the final page of the how-to manual, announcing they've ratified the new collective bargaining agreement with a 98% approval. Familiar foe in the Boston Red Sox, but the Red Sox have won 12 of 19 meetings against the Rays this season. Since we're in the playoffs, can you just throw away the regular season?
You can, to a point.
He wasn't all that sharp the last time out, was he?
No, he has had his struggles against the Yankees over the years. 0 for 3 over the last 3 years against the Bronx Bombers. Now, prior to his 2-inning outing in Baltimore, the 2 other outings, well, he lasted until the 7th inning, and that's where he's turned the ball over to the Rays bullpen. And we're welcoming former Buccaneer Michael Clayton, a Super Bowl champion. And let's talk about what is deemed Black Monday around the NFL. We already saw it, the Browns firing Rob Chudzinski today. Coaches all over the league about to get the guillotine. Greg Schiano, 11-21 in just 2 seasons with the pewter and red. Is his head on the chopping block?
Oh, I would say possibly.
Now, one player was looking forward to this conditioning test where they had to run 110-yard sprints 16 times. Luckily for them, though, Mother Nature giving them a little bit of a reprieve from the heat. Welcome into 10 Sports Extra. I'm Chris Fischer. Gators head coach Will Muschamp tells us why he has big expectations for this season, and the big wreck came not once but twice at Talladega. But we lead off tonight with the Rays, who've spent more time on the road than Willie Nelson. 22 out of the last 28 days, and the road has been unkind to them, winning just 5 of 17 contests. Yet today against the Rockies, they had a chance to earn a series win. They jumped on Colorado starter Julius Chesson from the start, runners on the corners, and James Loney puts the Rays on the board first, 1-0. After a pass ball scored Matt Joyce. Later in the top of the first, Kelly Johnson continued his tear with an RBI single to right. Loney touches home, 3-0 Rays. But the Rockies would pull within 1 in the 6th when Johnson again comes up clutch with runners on the corners, dropping one into no man's land. He has 10 RBIs over the last 7 games. Next batter, Ryan Roberts, doubles down the line. 2 more come on down. Alex Cobb's only blemishes came in the way of 2 solo homers. Cobber went 6 2/3, striking out 6 in the 8-3 victory to close out the road trip. We're playing Yankees starter Andy Pettitte getting an F against the A's. Top of the 4th, Luke Montz breaks the tie with a solo blast to left, making it 2-1 Oakland. Next inning, same thing. Jonas Cespedes, a 2-run jack, now 4-1. But the Yanks would come back to tie it until Josh Donaldson hits this one with a little bit of draw. Just inside the foul pole for the homer. Yanks lose 5-4. So here's a look at the AL East standings. Rays 5.5 games behind Boston with a chance to make up some ground this week. Rays hosting 2 last-place teams, Toronto and San Diego, coming to the Trop beginning tomorrow. So the big question surrounding the Rays is what's going on with David Price. In 7 starts, he has just 1 win, and opponents are hitting over 300 against him. Now let's take a deeper look at Price's problems. The velocity on his fastball and splitter has dropped on average 2 miles per hour from a year ago. And through 7 games, he's allowed 31 earned runs. If you extrapolate that out, he's on pace for over 130, the most by far in his career. And the final stat is balls put in play. Generally, pitchers are around 300. This year, Price is at 351. Last year, he was a stellar 285. Coming off the Cy Young season, Price was a media darling. He was appearing in commercials and award shows, all that jet setting can wear on the body. He even admitted in spring training that he had to try practicing in his hotel rooms, tossing a towel around. I think he's just fatigued, but he'll have to fight through it if the Rays want to have a shot at the postseason. Here's what some 10 News Facebook followers think. Bart Taylor writes he's frustrated and he's trying too hard. He's just not found that mojo. but he'll be just fine. And Krista Wolf thinks it's classic dead arm. He'll be just fine, and he's going to work his way out of it. As for the Yankees, Alex Rodriguez, he could be back in their lineup in the near future. A-Rod is set to report to their training complex in Tampa tomorrow to begin rehab. And Mark Teixeira may not be too far behind. He's taking hitting practice and could join Rodriguez. Well, the Bucs' first draft picks came in the second round, but depending upon who you ask, they got a guy with first-round caliber talent in Jonathan Banks, the recipient of the Jim Thorpe Award as the nation's best defensive back. And at 6'2", he's another big part of the Bucs' secondary facelift. Switching gears to Sprint Cup, it's known for the big one, and Talladega once again didn't disappoint. Not only had one, it had two big crashes. Rain washed out qualifying yesterday, so Carl Edwards had the pole for the start of the race. Lap 25, Kyle Busch gets into Casey Kane, and they don't call him Rowdy for nothing, beginning a 13-car crash. Denny Hamlin's first race back ends quickly. Tony Stewart, Greg Biffle, and Kevin Harvick get caught up in the wreck. Rain putting a damper on racing, bringing out the red flag, causing a 3.5-hour delay. They'd get back at it. Now 6 laps to go. J.J. Yaley taps Ricky Stenhouse, and Kurt Busch goes for a serious ride. Tumbling onto the top of Ryan Newman's car, Danica Patrick would hit the wall hard. Her day is done. Final lap, and David Reagan puts a move on last year's winner, Matt Kenseth, holds off Carl Edwards in the 99 to win for the second time on the Sprint Cup Series. Teammate David Gilliland takes second.
Yeah, sure.
Next, we talk to Gators head coach Will Muschamp. He said the football program was broken. Find out what current state it's in now. Welcome back. This week, Gators head coach Will Muschamp swung through the Tampa Bay area, taking the time to sit down and give the current state of the Gators program, which is a stark contrast now from when he took over 2 years ago.
At the time, our program is, was a little broken when we got here. And we had to build it back and build some confidence back in our players. We had to make some tough decisions early on that, certainly in the short term were not very beneficial for our football team, but certainly in the long term has shown to be very beneficial.
After a 7-5 first season, Muschamp and the Gators rebounded, going 11-2, and challenged for a spot in the SEC championship game. Led by a defense that finished 5th in the nation, this year the offense, in particular second-year starting quarterback Jeff Driscoll, will be looked upon to pave the way.
Him continuing to grow and mature in the role of being the quarterback at the University of Florida. Again, I've been nothing but pleased to this point of how he's attacked the offseason mentally and how he's worked.
Potentially no one has outworked Armwood product Matt Jones. The sophomore running back is expected to fill the void left by departing 1,000-yard rusher Mike Gillisley.
He will have a huge role in next season. He attacked the offseason. He's changed his body's up over 230 pounds. He looks great. He's got great endurance and a guy that really had an outstanding spring practice. Really pleased with his performance.
As for the defense, DJ Durkin assumes the coordinator role, moving over from special teams. And so far, it's been a smooth transition.
DJ's style he speaks for itself in his resume on special teams and the job he did there. Schematically, we're going to remain pretty much what we've been doing. We've tweaked some things based on our personnel and what we need to do to get our best players on the field for next season.
And that means Wharton's Vernon Hargraves III could see some playing time at cornerback as a true freshman. But overall, heading into Muschamp's third fall camp, he's feeling confident about the season ahead.
Right now we're in a situation where we've built some confidence back in the program. I think we've recruited very well. I think we have a deeper team than we had certainly 2 years ago. So I think right now, as far as the innings, you've got a returning quarterback coming back. You've got an improved offensive line. I think we've improved ourselves at some other positions offensively. Defensively, I think we're deep enough up front to make a run at this thing.
Take you to the course. Final round of the Wells Fargo Championship. Phil Mickelson entered the day tied for the lead, but after a bogey on 16, this to stay atop the leaderboard on 17. Back-to-back bogeys for lefty. He'd finish one stroke out of the playoff. Derek Ernst moved up the board with 3 birdies on the back 9. This one on 18 to move into a playoff with David Lynn at 8 under par. And on the first playoff hole, Lynn off the green, needing this chip to save par. not going to get it done. That allows Ernst to two-putt his way to his first PGA Tour victory. Finally, the play of the week, or should I say the shot of the week. Hooters girl Brittany McDonald with this sweet swing at the Jackson in Action Celebrity Golf Tournament. One of the golfers and former Ray Toby Hall's pairing asked Brittany to step in and give it a shot, and we are sure glad that she did. And that's all the time we have tonight on 10 Sports Extra. We'll see you back here next Sunday. And make sure to wake up with the morning show starting at 5 a.m. And don't forget, for breaking news and 24/7 live local radar, WTSP.com is always on.